Well, we both put maroon on this morning, George. We were just talking about karma before we hit the record button. So, welcome to the wrap with the Gophers, Rutgers today, USA, in Europe. Do we need karma? Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, I know, it's all over the place.
Europe is out of their minds. I can't believe the way they're playing.
Well,
they're good. They're good golfers. Come on, let's be serious.
Every time you want to pick up and say it's football world, well, it's not just football world. There's stuff going on all over the place. Basketball, baseball, golf. It's all cranking right now. You got to stay pretty alert.
Where do you want to start?
Anywhere you want.
Yeah, we might as well start with football. We might as well talk about the Gophers. Gophers had a week off.
They did.
They get Rutgers and their former starting quarterback again today.
Ethan is coming home.
It's one of those things that last year they went out to Rutgers and maybe piddled one away. I don't think the Gophers piddle it away today. I'm going to say it right now. I wrote my notes this morning while I was watching the golf, and the Gophers win by double digits today.
Well, I was thinking about this on the way home last night. We were in Greenway watching the football game, and I was, what's the difference between the team that we saw there last night and I'll tell you, it's expectant performances, and the seniors on the Broncos are starting to get that. I don't think the Gophers has achieved that yet. Outside of Darius Taylor, the expected performances are coming from underclassmen, and it kind of has to come from seniors on down. And I think when they do that, they're going to be all right. The Gophers are not without talent.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And it's just...
I mean, we got to go back 2 weeks ago when they lost to Cal, late night, et cetera, et cetera. Didn't perform well in the fourth quarter. Blame that on coach. He'll take the full responsibility, he said, for that. And so the scary part of that was we lost to Cal, and then Cal lost to San Diego State like 34-0 last week.
Yes, just got hammered.
That makes you scared, but you give a team 2 weeks to prepare, get a little rest, that kind of stuff. I'm expecting not a blowout, but I'm expecting an 11-point, 10-point win for the Gophers today against Rutgers at home, 11 a.m. Probably by the time most of you watch this, the game's going to be over. But that's my prediction. We'll see how we do.
No, I'm looking forward to this game a lot. It is, if there's a must game this early in the season, this very well could be it.
Especially with Ohio State coming next week in prime time on NBC, and then we talk about having to play Iowa and of course Oregon in November, and Oregon goes to Penn State today. Is that worth watching?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's going to be a dandy, and just a couple of other games that might spur your interest.
By the way, Oregon's number 6 at number 3. By the way, just.
I'm telling you right now, and I've been telling you this for a couple of years, Indiana is nothing to mess with, and they're going to be playing at
Iowa.
At Iowa. That's at 2:30 this afternoon. That's going to be a good one. In Iowa, they got to come back because they lost to Rutgers last weekend, and so they're kind of in the pit too. So
did they lose to Rutgers? They beat Rutgers.
Oh, did they?
I thought they beat Rutgers.
Oh.
The thing about this is Indiana's coming off 63-10 versus Illinois. Crash and burn. Iowa wins this game. I'm telling you right now, close, 1-point game, 2-point game. Iowa wins it at home. So maybe that's just my answer.
And speaking of which, Illinois, they got to go out to Southern Cal, and so that's going to be no give me out there. And I
actually got that written down at home that USC has to come to Illinois.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Southern Cal's at Illinois.
Right.
And Ohio State's at Washington. That should be interesting.
Could be interesting.
We should get a look at UCLA and see what they can do. Northwestern has not been playing well, but they're at Northwestern, and who knows? Maybe there'll be something that'll get them. And of course, UMD at Southwest State. It's my favorite team. Is 4-0. It's the only one that is. And so we'll take that, and
we will take that.
Yeah, we will take that. That's at noon at Molosky Stadium, and it was a good call that we're not there, but it could have been a good game to go to.
Could have been a great game to go to.
Yeah.
Number 4 LSU at number 13 versus number 13 Ole Miss. Number 17 Alabama at number 5 Georgia.
That's going to be a dandy.
Oh my gosh.
That's not going to be a small one.
When am I going to get a nap, George?
You're not.
Are you sure?
You know,
Because the Vikings play at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Then you got Ryder Cup at noon.
No, there's not much sleep in
There's no
the
nap.
football world. But you know, there's some good games going on.
DeChambeau and Young pick up the first win of the morning for the Ryder Cup point, but the USA is down 3-2-1 in the final 3 matches inside. Hey, if we can go 2-2 this morning, I'll take it. We need to get.
And they play tomorrow again.
The Ryder Cup goes this afternoon, and then all 12 singles tomorrow afternoon.
All 12 singles.
Starting at 12 o'clock our time.
Oh boy.
May not be much NFL football after noon tomorrow.
Well, no, but I mean everybody's. You know, where's this being played at?
Where's the golf at?
Yeah.
This is in New York on Long Island at Bethpage Black.
Okay.
And they had 55,000 there yesterday.
Oh boy. That's a few people moving around.
Think about how many beers in 12 hours. Basically, that's about how long it took. About 11 and a half hours yesterday. Think 55,000. Think about how many beers or drinks were sold yesterday there.
Oh.
Hey. I mean, it's like being at the Muni on a Friday night or something.
Well,
about the
it's
same
just
thing.
Saturday. Look at this roaring crowd. The bartender can't keep up. But you know, and the other thing is that the Vikings, they're going to Dublin. I got a call today and a picture from my good friend Joe Batdorf. He and his wife and his beautiful daughter, they're heading for Dublin as we speak.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're gonna go there, and they're gonna have a really good time.
You know, my brother's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I was surprised he was up here in the Falls paving this week. I thought for sure when I saw him, I think it was Tuesday morning. Yeah, Tuesday morning I saw him before he started paving, and I was like, I'm surprised he didn't tell me he was heading for Dublin, because usually when Pittsburgh plays overseas, and because his wife works for Delta, they kind of get some good seats. They can fly for free, basically.
I mean, I just know there's going to be a lot of Minnesota fans, and they're not only just going to Dublin, they're going to stay over for another week, and they'll watch that game next week in London, and this will be an experience of a lifetime, and it will be.
Yeah, it will be. They were talking about it for the Vikings and how the preparations for this trip began in May.
Yeah.
By sending a 2 container things to New York to be ready to get on a ship to be shipped over to Dublin and to London, so that they were ready.
Containers what? Food?
Food, medical supplies, all the stuff that the guys want. They were talking that, you know, if you run out of Gatorade while you're over there for the 12 days, you're not just going to go down to the store and pick up Gatorade or Powerade or whatever they drink, or that special type of food. So, I mean, they kind of asked the guys what they like to eat. They know what they like to eat, and they made sure that they packed the food and made sure that food is there that the guys want to eat.
Trips, they went to London and Ireland and played these games. They go for supper and they get a piece of fish and a potato. Well, these are pretty big boys. They need a little bit more calories than that, and so that's when they started bringing over their own food, because diet's really important for these cats. So
you gotta, they talked about trying to make it fun, but also a business trip, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Dublin. The Vikings went 48-10 last week. The Vikings aren't that good, but they're not as bad as we saw against Atlanta, because Atlanta went out and lost 30-0 to Carolina. I mean, this is why they play the game. I understand. I mean, I don't want to get cliche-ish while we do on this show. Anyway, what the heck? And I'd like to use a different adjective or describer there for everybody, but that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. Carolina's not a good team, and Atlanta goes out and lays an egg against them. Absolutely lays an egg. And the week before, of course, they weren't great against us. We were just
They were just poor. This is the scenario I want to lay on you. Wentz is going to play on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's say he wins, and I think they'll probably be favored. Mm-hmm. Okay, then the next week they play in London. Mm-hmm. What if they win? Now, when we come back, is J.J. McCarthy going to play any football this year? Are they going to?
No.
Will they leave Wentz?
I'm telling you, no. I don't even have to think about that. It's a done deal. It's over. If this team is winning,
They're not going to move.
they're not making the change.
No, they
back.
will not.
No, you can't say, well, he was the starter at the start. This is my opinion. I know there's coaches out there who say that, well, he was the starter, so he gets his spot back because he was injured. I still wonder if he was injured, A, and B. You don't mess with a winning streak,
no.
especially if you win 2 on the road, get a week off, and things are going well for you. You don't mess with that. And Carson Wentz has taken his hard jabs, his roundhouse hooks from teams and people who said that he wasn't very good. He's hung on, right?
He's hung on, and actually, and they all says, well, he didn't hurt the team last week. No, he did more than not hurt the team. He played for that team and did well. And he went to his tight ends like you would suggest, and his wide receivers are there. Also, they got a wide receiver coming home. And this is a better football team than it was the beginning of the year. I'm not sure at running backs, but
getting Christian Durasaw back last week obviously helped. The running game was impressive last week. They need to continue to do that and find balance. Obviously, that would help JJ if they could have run the ball.
Yes.
Like the first 2 weeks, obviously that would have helped JJ as well, McCarthy. So getting at Jordan Addison back is a big deal. Pittsburgh obviously has Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. Nothing is out of his realm. He can play great, and he can also play horribly.
Yeah, we're hoping for a horrible one.
We're hoping for horribly. Obviously, we'd love to see that, and go from there. So, this is a big stretch for the Vikings. We talked about everything, but maybe the most impressive thing from last week, and that was the Vikings defense. The forced turnovers, obviously, the Rodgers or Isaiah with the return for touchdowns, plural, a fumble and an interception. I mean, you don't see that every week, maybe not every season even. The Vikings were very opportunistic, advantageous, whatever you want to put on there. They took full advantage of them, and
they did. And I'll tell you who had some impressive play. And we brought him up last week, but Ivan the Terrible played real well.
Okay.
And and when he gets inside, he's short and he can get in around these guys, and all of a sudden, bam! The running back goes down, and there's Ivan Pace standing up. So, but he played real well, and he also has. He's got good range on outside coverage from out of the backfield and stuff. And if a linebacker, that's the benefit of running that back out of the backfield. Ordinarily, linebackers can't keep up. Pace can. And so I'm looking forward to him. A nice long career, the boy from Cincinnati. But
Harrison Smith came back, seemed to have an effect on the team as well. I think that's a big deal, whether he's 100% physically or not, or mentally, or whatever was going on. Obviously, having him out on the field, having that extra set of experienced eyes helps. I'm still liking Dallas Turner through 3 weeks. I think he's, everybody was a little afraid after last year. Is he going to be there? Is he going to make it to the Vikings? Screw up a draft pick. Great. I think he's coming around. We lost our left guard for a couple of weeks, though.
Yeah.
The kid out of Ohio State, Jackson. That's going to hurt that offensive line a little bit, but let's hope that they can function for a couple of weeks without him.
And what about Mr. Rodgers? Had a nice game last week.
Had a nice game.
We'll
take her.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, a fumble, a recovery, a couple of interceptions, first fumble.
Yeah, you get that kind of play out of a defensive player. I mean, I saw a post on X that said, Isaiah Rodgers has just been named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. In other news, water is wet.
Water is wet. Yeah.
Like if you didn't know at the end of the first half that he was going to be the Defensive Player of the Week. So.
Well, he did it all in the first half.
6 teams still undefeated. I'm going to ask you a question at the end of this, so be ready. Bills, Chargers, Colts, Philly, Niners, Tampa Bay. Of those 6 teams, which one is the most surprising 3-0 to you?
San Francisco.
Okay. Because?
They just really haven't put it together. And Purdy, the end of last year, they were suffering from injuries and
they just lost Bosa for the season, and Purdy's just coming back after missing the last 2 weeks, and they're still 3-0.
And they're still 3-0. But Bosa hurts.
That hurts.
Bosa hurts.
I'm going to say the Colts. That's the surprise 3-0 to me. Didn't see that coming. That's a left fielder. But maybe the most surprising team is that the fact that Philadelphia survived last week against the Rams, who were 2-0, and the Rams were up 26-7 in the third quarter, and somehow the Rams managed to grab defeat from the mouth of victory by having a field goal block not once,
and Mr. Barkley
but twice.
was coming on. He really still is probably the best running back in the league. If you take my friend Derrick Henry out of the picture.
Derrick Henry can't hang on to the football recently.
No, he can't.
3 fumbles in 3 games.
Ooh, that's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. But I still like that guy. He can do so many things. And talk about a back out of the backfield for catching passes. He's 6'3". He's 240 pounds. Even hitting him is no fun. And it's they're going to be just fine. Lamar Jackson is still he's my idea of what a modern NFL quarterback's supposed to look like. A lot of people freak out when I say that, but he moves so fast, he moves so well, and he's got a great quick release. So it's
Detroit took him down on Monday night.
They did.
They had a stat about Lamar Jackson during the game that he's the best quarterback. Like on third down something or the other, and I'm like, if you're good at that one, if you're the best ever, that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and then Detroit, of course, they got beat and they got blown out by the Bears, I believe, and then
they blew the Bears out.
Bears out,
and then the Bears came back and whooped up on Dallas. That had to make your friend Augie very happy.
It did, yeah. He needed a smile because Illinois got waxed last week, and they're probably going to get waxed again this week.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Those are things that could happen. Yeah, the NFL is always weird.
It is.
You just never know. That's the old any given Sunday. You never know what's going to happen. One game that I'd like to put an eye on is North Dakota State and South Dakota. Not South Dakota State, South Dakota, the Coyotes. We might recall that South Dakota beat North Dakota State last year during the regular season in a very close game. The commercial I saw on TV this week, the Bison look for revenge this week. How often do you hear
that?
They ever talk about the Bison looking for revenge against anybody?
They've only lost a half a dozen games in the last 10 years. Yeah. They don't lose often.
Yeah, they don't lose very often.
No.
So anyway, maybe it is a revenge game, but that game's at 1:00 this afternoon. So the Gophers and Rutgers on starting at 11 with North Dakota State and South Dakota, and then we talked about all the other college games already, plus the Ryder Cup. I need to get someplace that's got about 6 TVs on the wall or 7.
I'm so disappointed because I'm going to have 2 working because it seems to me that 2 football games at one time has given me plenty to think about, and I want to watch UMD. So there's like 3 games that I can watch, maybe 4 games that I can watch, and they'll be on. So
one thing that we failed to mention about college football last night, Florida State, was horrible last year, 2-10 last year, and then came out and beat Alabama and blah, 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 blah. Go to Virginia as the number 8 team in the nation and get beaten double overtime.
They stormed the field there, Tim.
I can believe they stormed the field.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
Did you get home last night and turn the TV on and watch the end of Arizona State TCU?
I did. Yeah.
So did I. I got sucked in. And then I flipped it over to ESPN, and there was a game that was like just starting the third quarter. This was at midnight. I'm like, what is ESPN and Fox doing to a person? They're going to
destroying our sleep patterns.
They're destroying our sleep patterns. Yeah. They can't expect us to survive that.
I got home. My wife was still kind of wondering how Cheryl Reeves could get booted out with 20 seconds left in the game, and she was she was real disappointed in the Lynx performance.
Did you read the news this morning?
No, I have
It's
not.
been not very good.
I'll bet not.
A possible fractured ankle for one Nafisa Collier.
Oh, that's done. They're done then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the play from last night, the Lynx are still in it, down 4 with about 25 seconds or so to go. They throw the inbounds to Collier. Collier grabs the ball, puts the ball down with one hand, and Alyssa Thomas comes in and steals it. And she may have gotten possession. She may have knocked the ball away, but through her completion, she kneed Nafisa Collier, and in the process, her ankle rolled over, and she sprained her right ankle during the season. This is the left ankle that may be fractured. That is what they're reporting. You talked about your good friend Cheryl Reeve getting tossed from the game. I thought she might get to one of the referees. They held her back for, what, a good 30 to 45 seconds?
And I mean, held her back.
Held her back. She wanted, after that Nafisa Collier hit, we'll call it, and no call, she freaked out. She basically went on the tirade last night in the post-game conference that something needs to be done about the officiating in the WNBA. It's been more and more contentious. People are saying, analysts, whatever, have been saying that if they let the men play like this in the NBA, there would be fights in almost every game. The officials also have been receiving complaints that they've been calling too many fouls. They called 41 fouls in an Indiana-Las Vegas game the other day.
Wow.
But you can't let go on what's going on. And if your star player, and we know Nafisa Collier is probably one of the top 5 players in the WNBA, if she is allowed to be hammered and beat up and, in this case, now have a broken ankle in the namesake of whatever we're going to let go, because that's how the game is going to be played. I don't necessarily think that that's good. The Lynx scored 9 points in the final 12 minutes last night, approximately. Your wife was upset. I think most of Minnesota's upset. How can a team go from 67 points in the first, well, I'm going to say 28 minutes of the game, because that's about what it was, and score 9 in the final 12? There are some breakdowns on the offensive end of the floor, not taking good shots, not getting good shots, and that has to be rectified. And in Cheryl we trust, but will Cheryl be able to coach the next game, because she's possibly facing suspension for her extended tirade last night.
She's going to get fined, and it doesn't help when you go on television and put all your dirty laundry out.
Well, Cheryl Reeve is going to get probably more of a benefit of doubt than maybe some other coaches will, because she's been around for so long.
And also, they take a look at what happened.
And they'll take a look at what happened.
And it's not that coaches have been complaining about referees for as long. On the other hand, for the WNBA, this has been going on for a number of years now. And last year at the championship round, the refereeing was pathetic. And so.
Okay, so I'll drift off the top. How do they fix it? What is the fix, do you think? What do they do to get
better officials?
To get better officiating. Maybe not better officials, better officiating, maybe. Because if you think about it, obviously a lot of these men and women have been refereeing WNBA basketball for years and years and years. So you would think just through the sheer attrition of doing more games, you would get better at it. But what needs to change?
One of the things that has to change, I think, and I even hate to bring this up, but the money that goes into the WNBA has to filter down to what you're paying the officials. And, and also somewhere along the line, and I'm not so sure, I mean, baseball has gone to a robot, for crying out loud, to call balls and strikes. And I'm seeing this here. We are going to prepare you to call a better game. This is what you kind of really have to concentrate on. I mean, the WNBA, when they first had it, I'm not sure where they were getting their officials, how even certifiable they were. Well, they're at a point now where they're making money, they're filling the stadiums, the basketball is really good. The officiating has to keep up.
Reeve talked about it after game 2, the loss in Minnesota. She talked about the fact that the two-hand check, that she said, if you're going to let a defensive player two-hand check from the half-court line all the way to the basket, that's a problem. And to me, absolutely it is a problem. You talk about the hand on, one hand on, not on, forearm, what can kids do? It just seems like...
Well, two-hand checks...
We used to... In the late 70s and early 80s, we talked about the fact that we thought that the NBA was rigged because LA and Boston always won. It was always what... And I hate to say it, I think the NBA maybe overcame that, and they were able to succeed with that with Mike and Magic and Bird and the whole 9 yards, and they got a product going that got followed. And the WNBA seems to be following the same lines as they're trying to get things to happen. Isn't it kind of interesting that the Minneapolis Lakers won how many titles in the 50s?
I don't know, 3 or 4 in a row. They were,
Minnesota wins a whole bunch of titles. Now they can't win one again, and everybody else is winning. And no, I'm no conspiracy theory, but no, I just wonder how much the referees are controlling who wins and who doesn't win, and that's not the way we should be thinking about it. But it sure feels that way sometimes, and I think we're a little jaded because of Minnesota and what's happening. And I'll also just say, I know and you know how difficult officiating is, because you do want to let them play, you do want to let things go to a certain extent. But I've said it on the show before, and I'll continue to say it. The NHL plays 82, now 84 games during the regular season, and the officials referee the games this way. And then 3 days later, we start the playoffs, and we ref a totally different way.
You notice that there's not near the penalties in those playoff games.
Well, and the cheap shots and everything else, it's crazy. It's a different game. So almost it's like, well, the WNBA has said, well, we're going to ref it this way during the regular season. And now when we get to the playoffs, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to let them beat the crap out of each other, and we're going to let it roll. And so...
well, there was a couple of other fouls in that fourth quarter that you had to take a look at, and it was getting nasty in there. The shoulders in, flippers going out.
And how much does ESPN have to do with it, with wanting to keep the games within 2 hours? Quit stopping the clock.
Yeah.
Quit stopping the clock. Keep things going. Europe won a point with Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy. They've been unconscious. They've been great. They're great golfers, but they had 6 birdies through the first 13 holes this morning. That's alternate shot. That's insane in that format. Anyway, Europe is up 2 in one match through 15 and up 1 through 14 in the other one. The United States almost has to get one of those.
That Fleetwood, he's a nephew of Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. So that was
where the reference on TV came from this morning, from Sir Nick Faldo. Now I understand it completely. I never even put 6 and 6 together to get 13. Anyway. So, sorry about the interruption. We were in such a group. By the way, Las Vegas leads Indiana 2-1. The game 4's tomorrow afternoon, I believe, in competition with the Ryder Cup in the NFL, and the last day of baseball, which we might as well go to next, because how insane is this? The Detroit Tigers, who in July I think had a 13-game lead.
They have stunk up the stadium.
They are now tied with Cleveland. Matter of fact, Cleveland was ahead by a game and Detroit beat them. They are tied with 2 games to go. You know what the bad news could be? Whoever doesn't win the division might not make the playoffs. And we were talking early in the season, you might recall, we were saying, well, the AL Central could get 3 teams. Cleveland, Detroit, Minnesota, we were thinking maybe Kansas City. The loser might be out. Right now, Cleveland's got the tiebreaker to win the division. Detroit is in the 3rd spot in the wild card. Houston is 1 game back of Houston. Houston is 1 game back of Detroit for the wild card with 2 to play. Detroit loses 2 games. They might not make not just not win the division.
Not even get the playoffs.
They might not make the playoffs. Holy, who would have thought that in July? They had the best record in baseball.
You know,
And now they may not be one of the top 12 teams.
to me, it started turning about a month ago when Milwaukee started getting these incredible winning streaks, and it's just like Milwaukee, where's that at? And and it's just and right now they're in the thick of things, but everybody is balancing out. These baseball playoffs are going to be great, and I mean, if you're a Dodgers fan or if you're a Yankees fan or any of the rest of that, we'll see what happens, but. These are going to be real, and I am pulling for the Brewers.
I'll jump on that train for hope. Toronto and New York are tied atop the AL East. Toronto's got the tiebreaker. New York is in. Boston is 4 games back. Obviously, they can't win the division, but they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs.
So 3 teams out of the AL East are in. It's done. Okay.
The Red Soxians are going crazy over this. They did not think that this was going to happen because they started out just awful, and of course. There's this rivalry with the Yankees just down the road, and so they're in that
Boston
place.
got the better of that for the season, I believe. So
I think they did, yeah.
The Mariners clinched the AL West. That's why Houston who's only a game back, as I mentioned in the wild card, why they're fighting. So you almost...
Tell me about this Mariners team. I mean, they've got some people there.
They've got some people. Cal Raleigh hit a 60th home run the other day.
60.
Not too shabby.
It's been a while since we've seen that.
And that's with a switch hitter, as we mentioned last week, and a catcher. Hitting 60 home runs. That is, I'm putting that in the incredible, one of the best seasons maybe ever.
You got Hank Greenberg, you got Joe Campanella, you got Yogi Berra, and you got...
And here's what they're talking about. The fact that he may not win the MVP. That Aaron Judge might beat him out for the MVP. I'm telling you, whoever is not a sports writer who's not from New York, and if you vote for anybody else but Cal Raleigh, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. They win the division. He hits 60 home runs. He plays catcher,
and he's a switch hitter.
And you might vote for Aaron Judge, who's got 52 home runs or whatever. Plays in a little Cracker Jack box out there in the Bronx. They gave him the short porch in both fields so he can hit home runs, and then we're going to judge him. Oh man,
what is that short field, like 230 feet?
Yeah, it's like 18 feet. Now after the first base thing, there's a wall or some all dang thing. In the NL, Phillies have clinched the East. The Brewers have clinched the Central. The Dodgers have clinched the West the Dodgers have made the playoffs for the 12th time in 13, or won the West for the 12th time in 13 years. The Cubs are in. San Diego are in. 2 games ago, Mets and Cincinnati are tied. And Arizona's hanging on by a thread. They're 2 games back out of that final wild card spot.
Go Reds! Anyway.
So, wow, we talk about football and golf and all that other stuff going on. Baseball's coming into their final week of the season. Kind of an exciting time, I have to admit.
If you're a baseball fan, it is going to be really, really good. Over and above the fact that we don't have a team in Minnesota, but we do. And there was parts of this season for the Twins that wasn't bad. It's just like they were never able to go over the hump.
They had a team reunion this week. They played the Phillies Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so they got to go out and see Bader and Johan. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I know you're pulling for the Brewers.
I am.
Do you want to just want to give got an inkling who might win it all?
Yes, I do, and I don't like it. But it's.
I got a feeling who you.
No, it's those Dodgers, and it's just like when they're spending 3 times the money that everybody else is spending. And they have, L.A., you've been to L.A. L.A. is a different breed of cat. And it's just, they're out there and they're doing what they did when they were in Brooklyn, only they didn't do it so well in Brooklyn. But they're doing it in L.A.
I think Shohei hit like his 52nd home run. Something like that the other day. I said, I'm not paying attention too much to the baseball.
How many innings is he pitching these days?
I saw that he threw 5 innings, but they're talking about maybe putting him into the bullpen.
That makes sense.
And that they didn't really that some people thought that was really dumb. That you're taking a hey, when you get to the playoffs, baby, you better
everything. And and I've seen them in the 8th inning pull out Cy Young Award winners and put them in in relief. you use whatever you got.
Gotta do what you gotta
These are
do.
baseball, yeah.
Loons are at Colorado tonight, 8:30. I'm not saying, well, if they want to win the Western Conference, it's a must win. With three matches left, it's a must win if they want to pull that off. Watched the end of the track and field championships last Sunday night.
I still got them recorded, and I got about halfway through.
I watched all my recordings.
Yeah.
I probably lost too much sleep last weekend watching it. The USA wins 16 gold medals, which is the most ever at a world championship. They really performed well overall. Noah Lyles wins.
Noah Lyles is amazing.
Won his fourth 200-meter dash. Melissa Jefferson Wooden, I think I got that right.
Yeah.
She wins the 100, the 200, and of course was on the 4x100 team that ended up winning by a substantial amount. The 4x400 women won by, I want to say like by 50 meters, which is a crazy number. That might be a slight exaggeration,
Yeah, they were
but it felt
brilliant,
like 50 meters when they gave it to McLaughlin Lavroni. and they were ahead by about 25, and she's the fastest woman in the world at that distance.
How old is Noah Lyles?
Lyles, I think, is 29 or 30.
He's there, okay.
But he is set his sights now 3 years to LA that he wants to be there still.
Oh, I didn't see anybody even close to him.
Yeah, he was booking in the 200.
He was booking in
took
200.
third in the 100.
Yeah.
So the legs are still there. Yeah, pretty scary, obviously, with the victories. They talked about the long jump men's. Somebody comes up with the biggest jump in the final round, and then the next guy comes up and beats him. It was just it was great theater. 20 feet 8 inches, 20 feet 8 inches in the pole vault for the guy from Sweden.
He is way up in the air, and I'm telling you, I'm watching the women pole vault, and they're well over 16, 17 feet as well.
They were talking that the Americans could have swept. They got two 21-year-old girls, and I call them girls.
They're twins.
They're twins.
And they're twins.
And I call them girls only in the fact that they're so young in the pole vaulting world that they should be considered girls in the pole vaulting world. Obviously, they're women at 21. But yeah, the Americans go 1-2 in pole vault. Nuts.
Those twins were having so much fun after the competition. During the competition, they were so close. They were competing against each other.
Sure.
And it's just like, and they were going after it. But
well, that's how they've gotten to be so good, is driving each other, right?
Yeah. No, but they and the lady that won it, name slips by. Boy, she's put together like a pro wrestler. She's big, strong, and fast.
You can't do that pole vault and not have some muscular strength.
No. You think
and a little meanness.
You think pole vaulters are 150 pounds? They're not. They're 190 pounds because they got such great arm strength. And it's the pole vaulting is fun, and it is getting up in the air. I mean, 20 feet. Give me a break.
And he makes 20 feet look easy.
I know it. He clears it by a whole bunch.
That's scary. Wild preseason. They got 3 games in since we last spoke.
Yes.
A late win in the first night against Winnipeg, and then Dallas. We hate Dallas. Hate them. Those buggers. Wild were up 2-0. I think that was last night.
That must be like that.
That was Thursday night.
I wouldn't know about this. Must be like having an ex-wife that didn't end well, huh? It's
That's 33 or 32 years ago. Someday you gotta let it go, right? Anyway,
they stole our star.
one of our frequent watchers, my best friend from high school days, said the reason why Kirill didn't sign the contract, the possible reason, the contract was too long. 8 years is too long. He's expecting that in maybe 4 or 5 years, the big number might not be 16 million. It might be 20 million. So maybe he's looking more for a 4 or 5 year contract. Jim, good ears on that. That's very possible. He doesn't want to sign it.
It actually makes sense.
Well, for him it makes sense. For the Wild it doesn't make sense. I understand why they'd love to sign him for 8 years. But let me just say this, Bill Guerin, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but if you're listening, Bill Guerin, sign him for 5 years. Okay, and if he's got to sign him for 80 million for 5 years, and then hope to God that you only got to give him 60 million for another 100 million for another 5 years.
Besides, you got to have 5 years of full arenas to pay his salary. It's just the way it is, and I don't mind him
I don't think
making good
I don't
money.
think the Wild are ever going to have that issue.
No.
The state of hockey.
Not
The
in
Wild
Minnesota.
could be the Wild could be pretty bad, and I think people would still go watch.
They do like hockey.
They do like their hockey.
And Kaprizov is as much fun to watch as I saw that the first
He's worth
game
the
he
$100
played.
and whatever dollar price of admission.
It is, I guess, yeah.
What else you got? I've emptied my sheets.
Okay, well,
they're empty.
I just want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, on Sunday, Baltimore plays at Kansas City.
Yeah.
Who are you picking in that game?
I'm going. Is it in Kansas
It's
City?
at KC.
I'm going Baltimore, nonetheless closer because it's in KC. But I'm going Baltimore. KC right now is not in a good place. I mentioned the argument between Kelsey and whatever last week, and he got into it with his coach again this past week.
I've heard some nasty rumors like down the road. On the other hand, he's still performing pretty well on the field. Is what I could see. He's catching footballs.
Well, he's catching footballs, and obviously Patrick Mahomes that's his safety spot, right? That's his happy place. That's where he's going to go. But if I'm Andy Reid, I know winning's important and whatever else, and I understand being competitive and putting what do you always say? Highly competitive people in intense situations can create whatever. Okay, once, okay, maybe a season, okay, maybe, but twice on the sidelines in front of the cameras in the world. I mean, you do it at practice, that's one thing. You do it on the sidelines.
Just because you got the world's famous fiance, he better get out of that mode and start thinking about football. Otherwise, KC, they're going to be down the list.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's hurting the team.
I think he is too.
With this. Anyway, and not that probably a whole lot of people would be sad to see the Kansas City Chiefs go away for a while and have somebody new to cheer for.
Well, I hate to say that. I really kind of like Andy Reid.
Well, I love it. Any guy who can do what he does has done.
Yeah. And so
have the ultimate
even
respect.
more than Patrick Mahomes, but Reid's put together that team, and he has proven that he's capable of that. So. And let's go on here. Cleveland and Detroit.
Cleveland will slow them down, but Detroit wins that game.
And Cleveland beat the Packers last week.
Wow. The Vikings win 48-10, but the Packers blew a 10-0 lead in the final 5 or 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, and let Cleveland score not once, not twice, but 3 different times. That might have made me happier than the Vikings.
And it's one of those things. Prior to that game, the Packers were the Golden Boys. They could not lose. They were the best team in there. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like it. And Micah is out there just doing the job, and so it's one of those things where the Pack plays Dallas this week. That might be interesting.
The Packers might win by about 20.
They might,
because they're not gonna be happy. Let's just
No, they're not. Anyway, let's just go a couple lists here. Oregon and Penn State. Who are you taking?
Penn State because it's at home.
Only because
they're at home. Penn State was ranked in the top 2 or 3, depending upon which poll. They're 3 right now. They really haven't played anybody, and that might be a part of the downfall. Oregon's a very good football team, don't get me wrong, but if they had played that game at 11 a.m., which probably without TV money probably would have been an 11 a.m. game, which would have really been a detriment, because that's what USC has to do today. They got to play at 11 a.m. in Illinois, coming off the West Coast. As their coach said, last week we played the latest starting game, and this week we got to play the earliest game. Anyway, no, Penn State close. 3-point ball game.
I think that's the game of the day. But Alabama and Georgia, Georgia,
that game's at Georgia, right?
The game's at Georgia, and they slipped by Tennessee.
I don't think this game is close. I don't think Alabama's close to Georgia. It's double digits.
Double digits. Whoa. And in Indiana and Iowa.
I already said Iowa's going to upset them. I'm going to stick with that. I know that will, like I said, maybe that's my liver talking, but yeah.
Your liver, My liver speaks too. Ohio State and Washington. OS?
Ohio State on the road, probably double digits. Washington hangs around for a while, and then Ohio State puts the pedal to the metal and wins.
And Notre Dame and Ark.
Is that in Arkansas?
That's at Arkansas.
That could be an interesting game. Notre Dame obviously lost their first 2 games. We know Notre Dame's a decent team. Arkansas has been playing better.
They have.
Could be fun.
It might be fun, yeah.
Notre Dame wins it, though.
I do need another television. And I guess that's about all I had to do about football.
Europe just wins another point, so now they're up 7.5 to 3.5. So they got 1 match to go. The United States down 1 in that with Scotty Scheffler playing in that group. So they're on the 15th here. So I'm telling you, they got to get a point. They got to be close going into tomorrow.
They got to be.
Got to be.
Let's just talk a little bit about last night's football game.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about last night's football game.
We're going into Greenway at their homecoming. And I figured that this was going to be a real lip ripper, and because they generally are.
No lip ripping.
No lip ripping. If there's any ripping of lips, it was done by Zach Husso. They said it was announcement.
Husso.
Zach Husso.
And one time it was Russo.
It was Russo.
I'm like, we need to give that guy another shot of whiskey. Or risky.
So what were you telling me? He had like 100. How many?
187 yards of receiving last night, I believe, is what I counted it up this morning.
That's not too bad.
That's I think top 10 all time for a receiver. That's a pretty nice night for. And I didn't even count up his defensive points, but he may have had. He may have been in the neighborhood of 35 defensive points. He was all over the place last night. He returned 2 kicks. He returned a punt. He got his helmet tore off last week, as we talked about. We like to see use of doing those kinds of things. 48-6 win for the Broncos. We know, and I say we, as coaches, that homecoming game can go one of 2 ways. Mm-hmm. Can either fall flat on your face because you're worried about all the other stuff that's going on, homecoming parades, homecoming royalty, homecoming this, homecoming dances, homecoming bonfires, homecoming s'mores, whatever it is. Or you can come out and be jacked out of your mind and play a great game. I think last week the Broncos, for their homecoming, found a little middle of the road and lost to Aiken, unfortunately. Last night, Nashua Keewatin looked absolutely uninterested in playing the game. Little bit nicked.
I asked Coach Nordquist at the end of the game, do you think the homecoming celebration had anything to do with it? Yes, I do. He never cared for homecoming games either.
For homecoming,
and there's so much distraction in this. The last thing on a football team you want to have is distraction. So
Greenway had 2 first downs in the first half. Both because of Bronco penalties on the final drive of the half. The Bronco defense last night was stifling. I did do some quick. I didn't have it all official because I haven't watched the film. But Greenway with less than 100 yards receiving or passing and 100 yards rushing, both of them. So when you hold a team to less than 200 yards combined, that's a good night.
Well, and I mean, we were talking about the seniors and expected performances. There's a couple of other. Logan Nordby at nose guard. He stopped that. That nose guard can take everything down in that line.
I talked to Eli. Played football on Thursday night, and we talked. Him and I talked after the game, and I may even said it on the trip down last night. Defensive linemen are there to allow linebackers, i.e. Zach Uso and Kane Thompson, to let them do their job.
That's
right?
exactly right.
Tackles.
Let them be the heroes.
And they got to be the heroes last night.
Did.
They really did. And the line played well in front of them. McClanahan and Kroska at the tackles.
Well, and they're and McClanahan. I mean, as I found out how big he is, he's only a sophomore. And he's starting to come across with this. Yesterday, I think, was his best game that I've seen him play, and that's only going to improve. As a sophomore, it takes a little while to break the rust out. You're not really confident in what you're doing. He played with confidence last night, and as the game went on, he got stronger. I'm looking forward to the next couple of years with that guy.
Yeah.
And so there were like I say, the sophomores are starting to pick up and do the job, and I think that they're going to be all right. I really do.
Kingston Jean, couple interceptions last night. I did do the stats officially this morning on the touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns for the Broncos, 3 throwing touchdowns for the Broncos, and of course, Andrew Ide gets the fumble recovery return, a lineman's dream.
Lineman's dream.
Picked it up and ran it in the end zone, and then I thought he was going to get 15 for chucking the ball in celebration. Oh, gosh.
And the announcers kept on saying, Eddie.
Yeah, not Andrew Ide. Eddie.
It was
poor guy. He had a tough night. The old
he did, but again, Kingston Jean, another sophomore. So I really have to take a look and think, and what I hear from the upcoming lower classes, I think football is well in International Falls right now.
We're not, we play our junior. I played Greenway on Tuesday. We got like 24, 25 kids. They had 31. We're going to play Mesabi East this coming week. They're coming with over 30 kids for their 7th and 8th. So I thought we were doing really good at 25 after only having 18 last year. And I'm being honest, that's a great improvement. And we got some kids who have never played football before. Excuse me. So that's a great sign. But these other schools are number-wise are doing well, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It's going to be fun to see. Obviously, October is on Wednesday, so of course playoffs are just weeks away. We're grinding down to the end of the season, and we'll see what happens.
I got just a couple of more things we got to talk about here. The Broncos, the Gophers lost a couple of their alumni. Jim Fawnhurst. He was the younger brother of Keith, and he went from St. Cloud. Both went to Tech, and he went and he played for the Gophers and did a really good job. Keith was 7 years older.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize they were that far apart.
Both of the boys died at 66.
Holy cats.
Yeah.
What kind of statistical thing is that?
I don't know, but it was in the book, so I thought I'd toss that down. I just kind of look. And then a guy from over here at Roseau, Johnny Harris.
Yes.
A great hockey player and an incredible golfer. And
I'll always think of him as a golfer. I never really knew how good a hockey player he was.
Well, he played for the Gophers and did that whole thing, and so
golfed and played hockey for the Gophers.
And played hockey. He was
that's an interesting combination. At both.
At both.
Like I said, I did not know how good a hockey player he was. That when I read the obituary, the story, I was surprised. I did not know all that. Yeah. I knew he was a hockey player, but I didn't realize how good he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was. He was one of those Roseau Power type people. And my last item of the day is a book.
Tell me about this book.
This is Afsoon, and Afsoon was a lady that when she was a young kid was brought over here from Iran. Now, in the 70s, Russia and Iran were the finest freestyle wrestlers in the world. Okay. And a guy that we had named Dan Gable changed all that. And he did it by winning the Olympic gold medal in 1972 in Munich. And he did the foreword to this book. Now, Afsoon came from Iran when she was a kid, got into wrestling. It wasn't an accident. Her father was a world champion. And they left when the revolution hit Iran, they snuck out in no easy ploy. And their family was being brutalized there. She lost an aunt, and other people they come in the house and grab them by the hair and throw them in prison. And so this is what they were living. Her parents did not want her to do this. She came over here. She got hooked up with some American coaches and her father, and she became a world champion, the first American women's world's champion that we ever had. And she's just I'm getting the feeling in this book that people keep on saying how nice of a human being she is and how humble and all the rest of that stuff. Her coaches are now coaching Malika Batdorf out in California. Okay. So these are all from California, and this is a story about. I mean, this has everything. This has politics. It has immigration. It has wrestling, it has cruelty. It's really just
Sounds
a
like
great
a movie.
story. You can find this book. I knew that Carrie over at
Carrie Gansh over
Carrie
at
over-
the workshop.
She has the book and she's selling over there. It was put out in 2020.
Look at the thickness of that book. That's kind of my style.
My
George
style.
likes to read books that are like this wide. That's more my time frame.
And actually, the printing's really big.
Well,
You-
there it's even better
you can-
because we know I'm not getting any younger.
No, and I've got a really good book I'm reading about Eisenhower, and all of a sudden I got this one, and I had to take a break so I could worm through this. I'm about a third of the way through, and when I get done with it, I'll have another report. But I'm telling you, this lady, this is what being American's all about. Come to this country. You have no place to go. She absolutely loves this country. She would do anything for this country. And this is the immigration situation that we're dealing with big time now. And so it can be successful, and there are some very, very talented people that weren't raised and grown in this
Sure.
region, and they come here because of what we have. And the number one thing that they have, Tim, freedom of speech. And they know it. If you said anything in Iran, they came and got you, threw you in the can. So, if you got something good to
we
say,
might be
or bad
getting
to
that
say,
way now.
Yeah, we ain't going to get that way because none of us are going to shut up. So go see this, go get this book, read it to your daughters, read it to your sons, and enjoy. That's about all I have for today,
Holy
considering
smokes.
the preparation that I put into it today is.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Sometimes you can make it all sound like we did it. We almost got an hour. Hard to believe. We got to get home. We got to get the Gophers. We
do.
got to spend some money, and then we got to get home to watch the Gophers, right?
Let's spend some money.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.